Well, hello and welcome to all of our viewers around the world. I'm Fiona Langsharp, IBCLC Director of Communications and MC here at Gold Learning. Welcome to all of you joining us here today. I feel so fortunate once again to have Andrea Herron here with us, who is going to be celebrating our up and coming IBCLC Day on March 2nd. And I say that because I had the pleasure of working with Andrea this past year, meeting her in person just a couple of years ago. But since then, I have to say that our conversations just continue to grow. I just love hearing from you. All your teachings and lectures are just so wonderful, Andrea. So welcome back to Gold Learning.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So on our IBCLC Day, we've got this fabulous topic that Andrea is going to be teaching on. And I really can't wait. This is something that just strikes me as so important. It's in some respects the solution to all things, I feel, when it comes to parenting. But the title of this presentation is Spirited or Calm: How Temperament Impacts Breastfeeding, Chestfeeding, and Parenting. So this will be, I know, such a big topic to take under as we celebrate the day with our IBCLCs, and of course, everyone else is invited. But first of all, let's get into how things are with you, Andrea. What's been happening? Give us a little update of where you are in the world and what you've been doing this last little while since we saw you last time.
So I am in the lovely San Luis Obispo, which is in Central California. We're a small college town. I've had the privilege of working in the same office now for over 33 years. I'm now seeing the grandchildren of the people I've seen. It's a very attractive area, so the children will leave, but they come back.
Oh, yes.
And my son is the same age as a lot of the kids I'm seeing, and they all know him. And it's such a fun thing to do. We've been very busy throughout COVID. For a while, I was the only person seeing babies in person because I just felt it was just so important that I just could not do it. And so we've been fortunate. Our numbers were very low for a long time. It's only since Omicron that things have really picked up.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm so pleased to hear that you've been able to provide that service. I know there's been a lot of anxiety. Let's just talk about it. There's been a lot of anxiety. We saw it through parenting this past couple of years, and it's been really hard. I know that it's impacted postpartum depression and, all those things. And you probably have seen that in your practice as well.
Right. In our intake form, we ask the questions looking for postpartum depression. And one of the items is, are you anxious? I would say 1 out of 3 mothers check that box.
Right.
That they're anxious. I've never seen so many anxious women. And part of what we do is just calm them down. Really. And that is part of mothering the mother during this, during this long hour that we spend with them. It's so important. So important.
Yeah, I would say that's something that a lot of us live for is, mothering the mother and, caring for the parent through the ups and downs and the reassurance that we spend. I mean, we really are those counselors at heart, when it comes to all of this, that is what we do for the majority of our work. Well, let's get into this. Let's get into this topic a little bit, because I know a lot of what we do is reassurance in, what's happening with the infant and those types of things. I do want to mention, though, and I can't not talk about it, because this is actually part of some of your writings as well. You have your book that is available on stands today. Everybody can go purchase it. And so why don't you tell us the title of your book, Andrea, and a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, it's called Suckle, Sleep, Thrive, 10 Weeks to Successful Breastfeeding Through Understanding Your Infant's Cues.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And we felt that was so important when we researched the book. One of the things we found is, and I talk about this in both my talks that I've done for you, is if parents don't understand the baby, sorry, there's someone that's walking in from the driveway, and so the bird, it's like a dog, it alerts us if someone's coming.
That's
I
okay.
have an office bird that the toddlers just love. They get to give the bird a cookie when they're done, and he can't come home. I have sitters on the weekend, but I have a cat at home that would love to have him come home. So he stays here. But I do, my husband says I spend more on my animals than anybody because I have babysitters on the weekend. If we are open on Saturday, but Sunday he gets a babysitter. But
Oh, that's
anyway,
so sweet.
yeah.
Yeah. So
So
tell me more. Yes.
so the research showed that when parents do not understand their baby's cues or
Hmm.
behavior, they wean. So that's why we really devoted a lot of the chapters in
Wow.
our book to infant development. We have a chapter on crying, sleep, temperament, cues, newborn development, just so
Yeah.
they really, really understand that we felt that was so important just from looking at the literature and
Yeah.
our experience, my experience.
Yeah, absolutely. We see it, and I think we see it. So sometimes you're sort of preaching to the choir. We see it, we talk about it, but I think maybe I feel that it's still quite undervalued. I'm always surprised when I'm teaching students about temperament and the value behind it. They want to know all about the latch. So do the parents. To tell me how to latch the baby. Let's just get it fixed. Let's move
Right,
on, that type of thing. But I'm always trying to slow the process down, so that we can observe and sometimes do it together,
right.
which I really enjoy. In the research, you were suggesting that if parents are always surprised, or there's how much lack of information that's really taught on temperament. Does it continue to be like that, Andrea? Do you think across the
Absolutely.
board?
Absolutely. Even this, college town, and we have a lot of child development majors at Cal Poly,
Hmm.
and they learn about it, but they don't know how to apply it. And they
Ah,
don't really, even that they'll come to me, they've had that child development degree, and they're still surprised because they really didn't understand it well.
mhm.
So, and I do get the feedback when they read the chapter in our book. It really, because we have a lot of illustrations, it really does make a difference for them to really, really start to understand and how that impacts. You can't get a latch if you can't calm a baby down. And I
Right.
tell the parents, first we have to organize the baby.
Mm.
And some of them are so much more difficult than others. And some, these babies that won't wake up, some of it can be from childbirth, but a lot of it is because of their temperament. They just really easily shut down.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's always interesting as well to find, when you're working with a family that potentially they've got, they've had more than one child. So maybe baby number two, and this baby is not responding in the same way. And
Right.
in their minds, of course, being a little bit more confident, which, you are as a second time or third time parent, but now you have, little Freddie and not responding quite the way that you anticipated. And you're having to adjust, to what's happening. And sometimes it comes as a shock. And
Right.
honestly, I speak from my heart because my baby number two was completely different to baby number one. And
Right.
I thought I had it all made, Andrea. Like,
Right.
honestly, my first baby, I was like, this is golden. I'm such a good parent. I
Yeah.
just need, I invested, I was consistent, I did all the
Right.
right things.
Right.
But my number two, who continues to be that way as an adult, was very different as an
Right.
infant.
Right.
So I had to adapt, but it took some time, and I did seek counsel. So this is something that's fairly common too, right?
Absolutely. One of my favorite stories is I used to teach my parenting class for almost a year. And I had a mom with her fifth baby, new husband. The other ones were older. And she said, I always make my babies adjust to my life. I'm not going to change anything for this baby. And about 3 months into the course, she came to group just crying. And she
Oh,
said, this baby doesn't sleep. This baby is up all night. And so we
mhm.
talked about what was this baby's temperament like. Well, the baby just didn't tolerate going everywhere.
Right.
She needed to consider some other options. This one maybe needed a sitter when she had to go out so that baby could stay on that baby's routine.
Mm,
And then it made a difference. So,
yeah.
I mean, children do teach us a lot if we're open to learning about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think some of the key things are that, how much this actually does. I know the focus of the topic is we're going to be talking about breastfeeding and chest feeding and parenting, but I know that, right across the board, temperament impacts you said everything, development, the whole, development of
It,
the infant.
it
Um,
does.
Yeah. So getting into this topic a little bit that, we're going to focus on, is there a couple of sort of, little teasers that, you're excited to share with us during this presentation in regards to how it might impact, the breastfeeding relationship?
Yes, I really emphasize understanding the subtle infant who
Mm,
doesn't give clear cues, who easily shuts down, and how those are the babies that will fail to thrive, and
right.
how to recognize it and how to teach the parents to recognize it. That's that baby that wakes up hungry, but so easygoing, they just suck their hand and go back to sleep and miss a meal. And then
Right.
when you have a busy mom, I see this a lot. Third baby, busy mom. They go to the doctor at 3 months at the 2 month checkup, and the baby hasn't gained anything. They've just
Right.
stayed at their same weight. And the mother's shocked. They said the
Yeah.
baby never cried.
Right.
So we
Yeah.
really do talk about that personality type and how to recognize it and how to emphasize those subtle cues.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was going to ask you on that point there, because it reminded me of the language that we've used for a long time that suddenly it sometimes doesn't have the correct impact that we're looking for. We say, oh, little Freddie's so good. He's such a good baby because he sleeps through the night, but in actual fact, he's actually not waking up, or he's not responsive when he
Right,
should be. He needs to pick up, and so
right,
there's a bit of mythology around good babies or not good babies or bad babies, even
right.
because even that, we hear parents talk about that type of language. So you've probably seen that shift over the years, but do you still hear that in your office?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I see low milk supply because that subtle, easy baby slept so early on,
Hmm.
and then is easy to distract from eating in the daytime.
Right.
They'll sleep all night, and then mother doesn't even recognize that her milk is slowly decreasing because that baby's not stimulating it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of those nuances. So I
Right.
think we can anticipate that we're going to be talking a lot about those nuances in your
Right.
presentation.
Right. With
Um, uh,
a lot of examples, a couple of case studies. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
it's just so important.
yeah,
And over the 35, I've been doing this for 39 years. And over
right.
those years, at least 4 or 5 times a year, I see this baby who hasn't gained weight. And there's nothing wrong physiologically. It has to do with cueing the parents and being so easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for a practitioner, again, looking at these nuances, because I
Mhm.
too can be almost entrapped in these scenarios too, where everything on paper looks good. And
Yes.
even clinically, I look and I am stumped. And I feel like I have a good amount of experience, Andrea, now, that these babies shouldn't be tripping me up, but they sometimes still do. And I had a case, not that long ago where I had an infant sleeping through the night really early on, and I almost missed it. I almost missed that, and it was inappropriately sleeping too long. And because the baby was so young, I didn't actually, get into how many hours this baby is sleeping because I assumed it was waking up
Right.
frequently. And it
Right.
wasn't,
Right. Right.
and so it can happen to the best of us. I think we just constantly need to be on our toes and evaluating. So I'm looking forward to having you come and join us again so that we can really sort of get into this and look at the research, look at what we're doing as clinicians and how we can best support our parents for
Right.
sure.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to their response. And I wish we had more of a back and forth, but I think looking at the chat box will be real helpful because I
Oh,
know we're going to
yes.
be seeing a lot of people go, yeah, this is what I've been seeing.
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so everyone will be able to come and join us. Andrea and I will be there. In fact, Andrea, you're going to be speaking twice on March 2nd so that we can
Right.
reach as many people as possible for that live event day. So you can come to both the sessions, one of the sessions, tell all your friends about the sessions. You can go to the website right now at goldlearning.com. So March 2nd is on the calendar live, but of course it'll be recorded as well. So you'll be able to register and listen to it afterwards. So what a great opportunity
Yeah.
for so many folks, Andrea. It's just going to be fabulous to be able to spread this message for sure.
Well, thank you. And I'm really looking forward to working with all my fellow IBCLCs and other people that are interested in being IBCLCs
Yeah,
or in the field.
absolutely.
Yeah,
That's right. And of course, as Andrea mentioned, you don't have to be an
right,
IBCLC to come to this session.
right.
In fact, if you have any contact with parents and if you're interested in, the development of an infant, you could, come and attend this session. It's going to be absolutely fabulous. Well,
Yeah,
thank you so much, Andrea Herron, for being with us here
you're
today. It's been
welcome.
great talking with you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah,
Thank
and your
you.
and your parrot as well. What's
Yeah,
what's his
Hopi.
name? Yeah, what's his
Hope,
name?
hope, hope. HOPE.
Oh, Hope. Well, thank you, Hope, for being there too.
Yeah, yeah, and letting us know someone was coming to the office.
That's right. That's right. You have a
Yeah,
wonderful day,
you too.
Andrea,
You
and
too. Looking forward.
bye-bye to everyone
Bye
listening
bye.
in. Bye-bye.
Thank you.